Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television and radio talk show where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon, beginning at 2 p.m. That's on the Eastern Time Zone. You can find us on television, Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast on thenewscasters.com. You can also find us on radio. You know, they say they're the biggest, and I think they are. WZLA Radio, located right here in South Carolina, in Abbeville, and they play all the older country stuff, you know, kind of country rock stuff from the 70s, kind of my gig. So anyway, they play all of that, and they are wonderful folks. You got to check them out on the morning show too. When I have time, when I'm not taping shows, I listen to them, and they are absolutely awesome. But again, thank you so much, guys, for giving me that chance. Continue sending email, Donna@donnasedge.com. That's Donna@donnasedge.com. I treasure every single email you guys send my way. It just makes my day. You can ask Phil. Phil will say, you know, she brightens up when she gets emails from you. And that's absolutely true. Donna@donnasedge.com. I have Jody Powell with me right now. And Jody, you're so much fun to have on the show. Folks in South Carolina keep asking for you.
Oh, well, great. Well, I'm happy to be here. Always honored to be on your show, Donna. Love the Donna's Edge. Love that classic country, that 70s, 80s country rock. Oh, man, that just speaks to my heart.
Yeah, they're beginning to kind of put a little bit of that country music in, or the Christmas music in there as well. They play things like Alabama, you know, Feel So Right and stuff like that. And Alabama, those guys were really good guys, Jody. They lived in Fort Payne, Alabama, and I lived in a smaller town just in the same county. We were about 20 minutes from each other. You'd see them out at restaurants. Just nobody bothered them. You know, football games and all those things, and nobody driving them nuts asking for, you know, autographs, unless it was somebody coming through, you know, visitors, that kind of thing. But anyway, it was just good. They were just really good guys and give a lot to the community as well. So,
yeah, and they have South Carolina ties too, as well. I believe they were discovered in Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, the drummer, you know, was from South Carolina, from Myrtle Beach.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, I love Alabama. Love some of the great classic country music. And I hate to use the word classic, Donna. It's not classic to us, is it?
Makes it sound old, like we're old geezers or something. We're listening to. I sound like my parents. You know, the 50s was nothing like the 50s music. You know, my stuff was junk. You know, and of course my son's stuff was junk too. You know, just on the line.
It's funny. I was doing a speaking engagement not too long ago, and I was using the reference of the movie Back to the Future, and was talking about how, you know, Marty McFly went way back in time to the 50s. Well, he was going from the 80s. It was 30 years, and I was using it in a metaphor, talking about being married to my wonderful wife for 28 years. And I realized in the moment that I was on that stage telling this story that just about the same amount of time that Marty McFly went back in time is the amount of time that I've been married to my wife. And it made me feel so old.
I feel ancient now. And this is another part. Okay, so he's up on the stage and he's playing the bass guitar and all this stuff. He's just really geeking. And he said, by the way, your kids are going to love this music. And yeah, we did, even though it was called junk. But anyway, we really did enjoy it. You know, I'm hearing Alabama. I'll tell you a classic song with Alabama, and that's the Christmas song, Christmas in Dixie. And we lived in Charlotte, North Carolina, you know, for a long time. And they used Charlotte, North Carolina in that song and the Carolinas. But I'm not hearing a lot of Carolina songs. You know, a lot of country songs. We talk about the Carolinas all the time.
Well, it's beautiful, beautiful area. So many, growing so fast. So many people want to move down to the Carolinas, and I can't say that I blame anyone, especially after seeing all of the snowstorms that have been hitting the Midwest and the Northeast. And my son's in DC, and he sent me a Snapchat and showing the snow, and I'm like, oh no, keep it away from here.
We don't want it here. No, I don't even want the cold weather. And I'm telling you, I'm driving Phil crazy because, okay, so I'm good with cold weather just through Christmas. But I'm saying, God, I know it's what you want. But if you could answer one little prayer, can we have like hot weather right after Christmas would be awesome. Well, maybe the New Year, but then right after that. And I'm sure God's going, well, okay, since you commanded, I guess I can do it.
Yeah, because that's how God works, right?
Yeah.
The genie in the bottle, whatever we want.
Yeah.
I'm glad that's not how it works, because a lot of things that I want to have happen really would not be good.
No,
Not good for me
no,
anyway.
no. I've thought about that. Things through life. Okay, think about this, like your first crush. Okay.
Mm.
Oh God, please, we're gonna marry and all that. And now I see the guy, and I'm like, what was I thinking? Yeah, I got the guy. I'm glad I waited. I
Right.
got the right one. That's another country song. Thank God for unanswered prayer.
Right.
And it's absolutely true. I mean, wow. What if old Donna got her way? Old Donna'd be in a mess right now.
Well, it's kind of tongue in cheek, but it's true, because there are so many things that in the moment we live for and we want and we desire, and we don't look for the long term and the long term in our life and the way things are going to unfold. And thankfully, God knows all of that and is loving enough to tell us no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I remember Christmases, and I've always got everything I ever wanted for Christmas. Santa Claus was always good to me, except for one thing. I always wanted an easy bake oven. So for some reason, I guess Santa was afraid I'd burn the house down. Phil asked me one time, he said, "What's one thing you didn't get when you were a kid?" And I said, "I always wanted an easy bake oven." He said, "Well, you want me to tell Santa Claus we can get you one now?" I said, "No, I like the big one I've got now. Let's just leave it alone. I'm good with it."
Oh yeah, my easy bake oven is the bakery at the grocery store.
Well, I like to cook. I mean, I do a feast. So we're taking the entire week of Christmas off just so I can cook. And so and I love it. I mean, I love it. So I like to, especially, so we're new in the neighborhood here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not really a neighborhood, we're in the country. But anyway, I have, neighbors kind of sprinkled around. So what I love to do when I move into an area, I like to bake a cake.
Mm.
It always breaks the ice. Always. Yeah. And so I'll bake it's usually going to be this pound cake. It has this butter sauce on it, and everybody loves it. It's like one of those that everybody likes. And some people don't like chocolate. It's hard to believe, but you just make something everybody's going to like. And it's always a hit. And the simplest cake, even old Donna can do it. So, I mean, it's like the easiest cake on earth. You just bake a cake, and then you put this sauce on it, and it just keeps it really moist, and it's good with fruit and that kind of. Am I making you hungry yet?
You are. I'm dying for a slice of pound cake now. I love pound cake. I've had different variations of pound cake. I think the best pound cake that I ever had, I was in Myrtle Beach. We used to go with my in-laws all the time, and there was a lady that would make pound cakes and sell them at a restaurant there called Hoskins, and it's right there on Ocean Boulevard. Hoskins is a great place to get really good seafood. They also have great meat and three. But she would sell these pound cakes there. They were delicious. They were just moist, and it wasn't too sweet. You could have a slice and not feel like you've had a sugar bag full of of sweetness. And they were so good. And bless her heart, I think she's at the point now where she's incapable of making pound cakes anymore, so she doesn't sell them anymore. And we talk about those pound cakes all the time. Every time we go back to the beach, boy, I wish we could get one of those pound cakes from Hoskins. They were so good.
Yeah, somebody always has their mark on everything, don't they?
Right.
So let's talk about the Christmas holidays coming up. And then I want to talk about your ministry because it's so important. But so sometimes we have like Phil had an Aunt Minnie, made like the best potato salad. And then he would have somebody else who'd want to compete with her in the family, and then they would get their feelings hurt because everybody liked Aunt Minnie's potato salad, and they dig for that one first, and then they would give the other person's. Like Phil's mother made like the best chocolate cream cakes. I would be a fool to try to mimic that cake because I wouldn't be able to. I mean, just not. So sometimes getting along with family members, sometimes we can do little things that can cause an uprise. And so let's talk about that, family get-togethers. Let's make them fun again.
It's funny because I don't think we're ever more selfish than when we are wanting to go to a family event. because we want to be the star of the reunion or the show, or we want everyone to like our dish. We want everyone to love our gifts more than someone else's. And it comes back to that old sibling rivalry, I think. And gosh, if we could just get out of our own way, we could enjoy the holidays so much more. The holidays for us, for my wife, is really hard because she lost both of her parents in the month of December. They passed four years apart, but they both passed around the holidays, and it makes that hard. And it's gotten easier over the years, and so but before they passed, I mean, the pressure of spending time with everyone and making sure everyone's satisfied with the amount of time and when it is and the timing, and is it Christmas Eve, is it Christmas Day, and we've told our kids from the beginning, we're not going to pressure you to do anything around the holidays, because we know how that feels sometimes, and it can be so overwhelming that you tend to stop enjoying the holidays, and no one wants that. I mean, this is it's supposed to be the most wonderful time of the year. It's the time we celebrate the arrival of Jesus Christ on earth, and we lose so much of that because we want to create our own special memories. And I think, Donna, I think sometimes the best memories that are ever created are those ones that we're not trying to create. It's not the ones that we're trying to manufacture into this Norman Rockwell Christmas painting. It's the ones that happen very spontaneously. And it's usually, for me, some of my best memories of holidays are the ones that just crack you up, that just make you laugh, and those usually come with like bloopers of people spilling dishes in the kitchen and those kind of things, and funny traditions, and those to me are the best times and the best holiday memories. It's not the perfect Christmas dinners. I don't remember those. I remember the things that happened that made us laugh. I remember the spontaneous traditions that were started out of the blue that we have really no idea how they started, and then we just started doing it. That's what we do. I think those are the best Christmas memories that we can have, because they just happen.
Well, we always, I'm the mother-in-law that I don't want to see them on Christmas, because really, because they have, her grandparents are still alive, and, all this. So they have to go see all this. So the year they were married, they came to me and they had a question. Okay, I could see it's something serious. What's wrong? It was my first thing. What's wrong? Like that. And they said, we just want to talk to you about something. And they were both looking gun shy at me. And I'm a new mother-in-law, so she didn't quite know how to take me yet. So she said, well, we always go to my grandmother's, and, and then my mom's, and they lived in Raleigh, and I live in Charlotte, North Carolina at that time. And I said, stop. And so I said, I don't want to see you on Christmas Day. Well, then that shocked them. So I was going to be the one that, you've got to demand you're at my place on Christmas Day. It must be blah, 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 blah. And I said, no. I said, well, I don't care when we do it. It could be like 2 weeks before, 2 weeks after Christmas. It doesn't have to be Christmas Day for me. I mean, and then she sets in with, you're the world's best mother-in-law. You're just like, and I said, actually, I'm not. I'm kind of selfish. I said, because here's what I know. I said, you're going to be visiting. You're not going to have much time to be spending with your grandparents and your parents and all this kind of stuff, because you're going to be like ripping and running to, different areas. I said, I'm going to get you you're going to be stuck with me for like 2 or 3 days. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty selfish.
Well, I think, but that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's truly about spending time in the moment, in the here and now, not worrying about where we have to go in 2 hours and who's going to get their feelings hurt and those kind of things. We're the same way. I would love to have my family, my kids, in home, and it doesn't matter if it's the 24th, the 25th, the 12th, or the 10th. Yeah. I don't care. I want to spend time with them. The timing of it really is irrelevant for us, and it's about that fellowship. It's about making those memories. It's about having that good time, that good quality time with them, and truly getting back to the reason for the season. And the great thing about being a Christian and loving the Lord is that you can celebrate Jesus any day of the year, and praise Jesus any day of the year. It doesn't have to be December 25th. And we can celebrate the fact that he came into this world, was born so humbly. Any day of the year can be Christmas. And for us, that's just kind of how we look at it. And I think, for a lot of folks, especially a lot of kids, I know we were this way. We were very appreciative also being able to have that special time just with my family. And I know growing, when our kids were little, we set the precedent. Christmas Eve is ours. It's for the four of us. It's for my wife and my two sons. And we would go to Christmas Eve service, and it was just a very special time. And young families need that too. I think as in-laws, we need to understand that the holidays does not have to center around us, because there needs to be special memories created for them. And so, we take the time when we can get it, not when we want it necessarily. Mm-hmm. And so it's and then it becomes, again, just a special time because it was spontaneous. Some of the greatest memories that I have of my children as adults is us sitting around the table playing board games or doing something like that, not necessarily sitting around a big feast with a fireplace and a Christmas tree. It's just the time that we spend and the love that we share together that makes it really, really special.
Something, my most memorable time at Christmas was actually not at Christmas. So one year, I don't know what brought this on, Dad grabs and says, get out of the bed, you got to go to the living room. So we went to the living room, and around Mother's fake FICA tree, Santa Claus came, and this was in June.
Really?
It was in June. I'll never forget that day. And I remember that much more than any of the Christmas Day we had.
Yeah.
It was just like, we were just shocked. I said, but it's summertime. And so, and again, Mother's fake FICA tree. And that's where in the living room, there where Santa Claus had come and dropped off some gifts for us.
Yeah, those spontaneous memories are precious.
Yeah, folks, parents need to use your imagination.
Yeah.
Kids love stuff and I promise you, they're never going to forget it. They'll keep their memory forever.
That's so true. And those memories are really valuable and special. And I lost my dad this year. And so we really started thinking about it. It's funny when things like that happen, when you lose people that are close to you, the things that you remember that you haven't thought of in years, the memories that come up. And I really believe those are things that God gives us to continue to comfort us through difficult times. And so those are the memories that pop up. It's those things that we don't plan. It's those things that just happen in life, and how we respond to them as parents or as children, as family. Those are the things that people remember. Those are the things that legacies are built upon. And so, we have to keep that in mind in terms of how we respond to things that happen that we didn't necessarily plan for, that we may think in the moment, oh, this is terrible. Well, let's respond in a way to just turn that lemon into lemonade, and it's such a cheesy saying, but it's very true, because those are the things we remember. Those are the things that carry through and really build traditions and legacies. Our tradition, we have a tradition every year at Christmas. My youngest son was born in December, so he's kind of getting gypped with the Christmas gifts, and that's a very real thing. He absolutely gets gypped, and I do not apologize for it, but I'm like, this is a luck of the draw, buddy. But on his birthday, which is December 19th, we always watch the movie Christmas Vacation, and we have for years and years, and I can't even tell you how we started doing that, Donna. I have no idea, but it's one of our favorite Christmas movies. We love to watch it as a family. We without fail, even now that they're adults, we watch that movie on or around his birthday. And it's not something we are forced to do or we force them to do. It's something we all want to do because that's what we do. That's how we celebrate. And it's just a good time. It's just a fun time for us to be together.
We have our favorite things we like to do too. And one of them it's an Andy Griffith show, and it's the Christmas show. Where the older man, he really wants to be put in jail so he can spend time with everybody. And of course, I love Andy Griffith. I can quote the shows. I have a sad life, but anyway, I love Andy Griffith's shows.
That's a great life. What are you talking about?
I love it. I love it. So I can quote the shows. And then another one that we really like is Elf. And Elf is a newer movie. Mm-hmm. And I have to see The Bishop's Wife. That's a classic with me. I love that one. But Elf is just so funny. And he just makes you think of your kid brother or something.
Right. Well, those kind of fun.
There, right? Aren't you the kid brother? Yeah.
those fun movies, the funny movies. All it does, it brings a little bit of it just kind of lightens the mood. It takes some of the pressure off. You're able to just sit back, relax, and laugh at some of the goofiness, whether it's Will Ferrell or Chevy Chase or whoever it is. It's just a good opportunity to just spend time laughing. I think some of the things that happen in our world today, we have forgotten how to laugh and how to just smile through things that happen that maybe we didn't want to happen, or maybe they're bloopers or whatever you want to call them. We've lost the ability to laugh through them. We think they're disasters, and I think those are the things that make the holidays fun and funny and memorable. And I think we need to just get back to some of that. Let's stop worrying about buying all these gifts and worrying about all of that shopping and drawing names. It's just, at the end of the day, now as a kid, the gift part was Christmas. I mean, that's what we were waiting on. We wanted all the stuff we wanted. But I think the most important thing we can do for our children is moderate what we're giving and really expand on how we give to those that need something. And I always tell my kids how fortunate and blessed we are, and with that, in turn, we need to be gracious with what we're given to give away as well.
Well, I have to tell you this. Now the kids always get something. I mean, we always do that. But as adults, we quit drawing names, and we quit just giving each other like a $20 present or whatever. The fun thing to do is to go to the Dollar Tree, just find something at the Dollar Tree and play Dirty Santa. Mm-hmm. And that's what we do. And so, and you'd be amazed how a pair of Santa socks can go around the room. I mean, you never know what the hit's going to be. And so that's what we do. And it was like, we all have stuff. We don't need any more stuff.
Yeah.
And I would never buy my daughter-in-law clothes. I mean, first of all, her style is more casual, that kind of thing. But I don't know anything about sizes. I mean, I don't guess well, and I don't want to be ridiculed because I got something. Well, you think I'm fat? Is that why you got that size? I mean, like that. So we usually just give them a gift card. Mm-hmm. And the restaurants, they love to eat out. It's a treat for them. And so that's just generally what we do. And then we just play Dirty Santa.
And because I think a lot of that is just about being together, the fellowshipping, having the fun. It doesn't have to be so commercialized. It doesn't have to be all of these contrived things that we have made Christmas. Some of the most fondest Christmas memories I have, even growing up as a kid. My grandfather was a Southern Baptist minister. And every year, someone would read the Christmas story from the Bible. And then as we got older and we began to have children, and my brother had children, we would come to my mom's house, and my dad would always read the Christmas story. Mm-hmm. And we'd kind of laugh and roll. We can recite this story, word for word, without you having to read it. But it was those times when you would stop and you would listen to the story. And you always heard something that you hadn't heard before, and we said, well, how does that happen? How do you hear those things? You've heard this story 1,000 times. What do you mean you hear something? Well, I truly believe that God speaks to us in those times, hearing those same stories to tell us something that we need to hear in the moment that we're in, and those are, again, just fondest memories of Christmas. Is not. I can tell you, I can maybe list on one hand the things that Santa brought to me. You mentioned the Easy Bake Oven. Well, as a little boy, I got a wrestling ring, a little toy wrestling ring one time, and it was the greatest toy that I've ever got.
My brother got one, and I wound up playing with it more than he did. It was like this punch thing. I mean, did you had that one? Probably the same thing we did.
The old Rock'em Sock'em set. Yep, had one of those. I'd get little wrestling, figures, and we're not going to call them dolls because they were action figures. but yeah, you're right. I would, and I remember playing with these toys, 7, 8 years old, and I was putting together wrestling cards and doing events and all kind of things and slamming around the ring and all this kind of stuff. That's maybe a bike, maybe that. That's really all I remember getting. And every year Santa would bring me whatever I wanted, stuffed and blah blah blah, but it wasn't what I remember about Christmas. What I remember about Christmas are, the reading of the Christmas story and the spending time and the traditions and the laughing and the games and the, seeing your cousins and your aunts and your uncles and those kind of things. It was the fellowship and it was the family that I remember most. Not the gifts, not the things that we bought, not the things that we gave. And some people may remember those things. Those are important to some people. And that's fine for them. But for me, it's not about that. It's about the fellowship. It's about loving your family. It's about being with them and sharing in those times. And that's what makes Christmas for me so special.
I gotta tell you something. You'll think this is funny. So my granddad would do the Christmas story. My dad would do the Christmas story. The torch got handed down to him, and so he would do that. But then my granddad always told, 'twas the night before Christmas, but he made it sound like a Halloween horror story. And I would just be crying like, I'm scared. So what he would do is he would do it this way. And he would put like a blanket over his head for some reason. And he would go, 'twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. And he would we would be like, ah! You would think it was Halloween, the way we were. So it was like, can we hear the Jesus one again?
Right. Yeah, do that one first. Let's end on the Jesus story, please.
Please, can we
That's so funny.
Different family members have different ways, but you had, I don't know, that story was the night before Christmas still freaks me out. I just, you know what we sound like? We sound like the movie Big with Tom Hanks. You and I,
yes.
we're going back in time. You know that?
Yeah, that's a great movie. That's a great movie reference too. I love that movie.
Too. Let's go into a commercial break. We're having to take two now. I have a lot of
great
coming in. That's awesome. So we'll be right back in just a few minutes. Everybody hang in there.
Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community. Whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need, towards at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer.
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
Okay, we are back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Age Television Talk Show, 20 years of it, where we like to spend a lot of time with you. You can find us on Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast on thenewscasters.com. Continue sending email. I adore them. You can find us also on Classic Country. By the way, Jody, your show was on the other Saturday. I don't know if you've had any feedback off of it yet, but anyway, you were on there. I wanted to thank all of our sponsors as well. We've got a lot of new ones, and I wanted to mention the Eggs Up Grill. I mean, that place is good. I had never heard of it until we moved here, and do you know they are expanding? They're going to be opening up 100, maybe more than that, 100 new restaurants this coming year.
Wow.
So they're doing something right. It's very child friendly, family friendly, and it's almost like a cafe. And they only serve breakfast and lunch, but it's good. I mean, it's some awesome food. So go ahead and check them out. Honey Baked Ham, go ahead and check them out. And also the Anderson Mall. They're expanding. They're one of the few malls that's actually doing really, really well. And so thank you again, all the merchants out there at the Anderson Mall. We definitely appreciate you guys for sticking with us as well. And all of our sponsors still in Alabama, thank you so much for being with us. Bobby Ledbetter, Twin City Used Car Sales. I'm driving Bobby's cars. Up here, it's one of the deals in the trade out, in the advertising. And so people will stop me and say, so where is this? And I'll say, it's in Alabama. 4 hours away, but it's worth the drive because these cars are, I mean, they're all Southern cars. And what I mean by that is you buy cars from up north, they've been in the snow, they've been in, where they put salt out there, and that can do damage to the undercarriage of your car. So anyway, I think that's another reason he's getting some folks coming down there from the north. But anyway, we appreciate you guys staying with us. We definitely appreciate it. Jody Powell was with me. It's always so much fun to have you on the show, Jody. We're just, we could throw and rock at each other. You're not that far away.
Not far at all. Just right up the road. Love the Eggs Up Grill, by the way. Just wonderful food. Oh my goodness. You're making me hungry talking about pound cakes and now Eggs Up Grill. I'm going to have to go down to Alabama, get me a car from Bobby Ledbetter, and then drive up to here to get some grill and a honey baked ham.
There you go. You'll be glad you did. Let's talk about your ministry. You guys are taking off. I mean, people get it. They really do.
Well, it's a lot of fun to be able to do two things you love, and one is professional wrestling, and one is spread, and the other, of course, is spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ. And to be able to combine those and to truly reach the lost and kind of meet them where they are. And that's kind of a cliche that we've started here. It's kind of a popular thing now to meet people where they are, and people should come as they are. And there's a lot of questions whether if that's biblical or not, or is it true or not? Well, I'm going to tell you something. Jesus met a woman at a well where she was. And we are here to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ, not necessarily to those who are sitting in a church pew every Sunday. Not saying that those people don't need to hear it, because we all continue to grow and walk with the Lord, but our purpose really is to minister to the lost and to bring them to a point where they are beginning their walk with Jesus Christ. And that walk is so important. There's so many things that we as Christians need to understand and realize about the life of Jesus Christ and how we are to live it. I was reading this morning, Donna, in looking, I'm totally in the wrong holiday season because I was reading the Easter story this morning, and it just, I think I've been craving springtime. I'm like you. I want some warm weather and those kind of things. But I was reading where Jesus was before Pilate, and Pilate asked an incredible question. It was in the book of John, and it was a rhetorical question. As Jesus answered him after Pilate said, "So you're a king?" And Christ told him, "Say, that's who you say I am." And Jesus said that his purpose for being born is actually to testify to the truth. And Pilate asked a question right there, and it was a rhetorical question, unfortunately, for Pilate. If he had listened to the answer, we might have a different story here. But his rhetorical question is, what is truth? And I think we lose some of that today in our society, because a lot of people talk about, and I hear this phrase a lot, this my truth. This is my truth, not your truth. Yeah. And I'm a big stickler on semantics. I love language. I love the use of words and how to use the words. I guess that speaks to my public speaking and those kind of things. But I just truly don't believe that truth can be possessive. There is no my truth. There is no your truth. There is the truth. Mm-hmm. And the truth can't be argued. And the things that you possess are your beliefs. It's my belief of the truth. And people can have different interpretations of that, but at the end of the day, it's a very poignant question that was asked, unfortunately, in a rhetorical way, is what is truth? And the truth is that Jesus Christ came. Of course, and we hear this. We're taught this in Vacation Bible School. Jesus came into the world to die and save us from our sins, and that's absolutely true. That is truth. That's not the only reason he came. Jesus said he came to testify to the truth, and that's part of the truth. The other part of the truth is being a model for how we should live once we begin to believe. And so there is a need for that person that's sitting in the pew every Sunday and every Sunday night and every Wednesday or whenever your church doors are open, that are listening to the word. There is a need for understanding through that walk, and your church home should meet that need. Mm-hmm. And you should meet that need. I mean, the responsibility is on us to have that relationship with Jesus Christ. It's a personal one-on-one relationship. What we focus on in our organization, Wrestling for Christ, is really hitting that point of, here's how you get to start the journey. This is the gift that was given. And, we talk about gifts at Christmas time. I still believe the two greatest gifts that I've ever been given, number one is the gift of life, and that's through Jesus Christ. And when I say life, being able to be reborn in Christ. And then the second greatest gift I was ever given is my wife. And I believe that came from the Lord as well. And so those are just the wonderful gifts. But that first one, just being reborn, and we want to share that. And we're not typically going to find people sitting in the church pew Sunday mornings to share that message with. Most of the people that are in church are the ones that have already come to understand the gift of life. What we want to do is we want to go out into the community, and we want to meet people in places that they're not expecting to have an encounter with the Holy Spirit. But the Holy Spirit doesn't just move inside the church walls. The Holy Spirit moves throughout the world and throughout the earth, and can come in contact with you at any point, any place in time. And we want to be a vessel for that. And that's why we do what we do. That's why we go to fairs, and that's why we go to churches, we go raise money, we go into schools. But that's why we'll go anywhere to bring professional wrestling, really good professional wrestling. But more importantly, we want to bring the message of Jesus Christ, and our guys hear it. They do their best to live it. I do my best to live it. We don't always live it well, but we do. And we want to be examples for that and share that gospel message.
I think it's wonderful. I remember hearing people throughout my life talk about where they got saved. A lot of folks didn't get saved in church. Right. I remember hearing this farmer one time, he a minister as well. He said, "You know where I got saved at?" He was talking to us kids one time in church, and he said, it wasn't under the steeple of the church. He said it was out in the cornfield. And he said that somebody had talked to him, somebody had witnessed to him, and it just struck him. He was all by himself. Yeah. And he said, I was just out in the cornfield, and that's where I got saved at. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be in the walls of a church building is a building. And, I believe that we are the church, the ones that if you're a Christian, you are part of the church, and that's the bride of Christ. That's, we hear that a lot in the Bible, the comparison of the relationship that we have with Jesus Christ to marriage. And that's why I think it's so important to understand the purpose of marriage and the work that is marriage. And I don't say that in a negative way. Marriage is a lot of work. Mm-hmm. And, we have to come to realize that. And work doesn't have to be bad. I enjoy the work that I do on my marriage. And I've come to learn, and I'm still learning. And my wife will tell you he's still learning that it is work. But, I think the greatest advice that I was ever given was by my father right before we got married, as he and I were talking, and he said, I want you to understand something about marriage. It has nothing to do with you. This marriage is not about you. It is 100% about her. And if you go into it thinking that way, that without any kind of expectations of anything in return, that everything I do, 100% of it is about her. And if she comes into it in that same vein of 100% of this is about him, then you don't have to worry about kind of that quid pro quo or whatever thoughts that we may have that, oh, well, I'm treating you like a queen, you're treating me like, the court jester. No, we don't have to do that. And even if it's a relationship where only one person is giving 100%, we still shouldn't expect anything in return because it's not about us. If we go into it thinking about what we're going to get in return, we're going into it with the wrong mindset. And that's the same thing when you think about the relationship that we have with Jesus Christ. I go into that relationship every day hoping that all I do is praise the Lord and am used to share the gospel. What do I get in return? It doesn't. That part's not on me. The part that's on me is being open to share and being vulnerable and being 100% committed to the relationship that I'm in with that other person, regardless of how committed I am. Now, thankfully, Christ is 100% committed to me. And we talked about earlier, and that means sometimes he has to say no to things that we want in the moment. But that's how the relationship should work. I think it was the greatest thing that I'm continuing to learn. I haven't figured it all out yet, and probably never will this side of heaven. But if every day, if I can put her in the position of being, it's 100% about her, then I've succeeded for that day.
And that's what you do in everything in life too. The best business book you can have is the book of Proverbs. I mean, that, and people have asked me, what do you recommend in the business world? You've been in business forever. And I'm like, are you calling me old? Because I've been out long. And I'll just respond, yes, a lot of good ones out there, but I'll have to take the best one's Proverbs. I mean, read the book of Proverbs. I'll tell you, and it's about putting other people before you. And in the business world, if people would just do that, I worked for GTE for a very long time. I was in the corporate department. I handled the government and the corporate accounts, and I've loved everything I've ever done. I loved that job. It was a lot of fun. But a simpleton like me could make it work. I mean, I'm very simple. Okay. So, I was winning trips and, making a lot of sales and stuff. And so they had this corporate guy flew down from headquarters. And so he wanted to see what my magic trick was, and I said, well, you're going to be bored to death. And I said, it's really not a big deal. I mean, I said, you just put others before you. I mean, that's basically you find out what their needs are and you try to fulfill those needs. And he said, well, when I get down there, set up 3 appointments for me. Okay. And I said, he said, I just want to see you at work. And I said, okay, we'll do it, but you're going to be bored. So anyway, I set up 3 appointments. But the 3 appointments were not about going in and getting sales. The appointments were sales I already had, and I was taking care of the customers, and that's how I based everything. So I walked in, he said, no, wait a minute, this is not going to be a sales call? And I said, it'll turn into one, just have patience. So we get in, and I'm taking care of their bill. You know how cell phone bills will scare you to death? It's like paying, you think you bought a house. And so I said, I would always say, don't let the person who pays the bill open up the bill until I get there. I'm going to set up an appointment with them. And that was always my second appointment. So I walked in, I was with the person who paid the bills, accounts payable. And so I helped her to understand the bill. And she said, now before you go, because see, I helped her, because I didn't want to hear it, like reading the papers that she'd had a heart attack after she opened up the bill, so I didn't understand it. And so once she understood it, it made sense. And so then she said, talking about somebody in a cubicle, whatever, is waiting on you. I think he wants a phone. I think he wants to buy a phone for his department. And so I did that. And so and all 3 appointments all turned into sales. And I didn't even ask for it. I mean, they presented it to me. I helped them. Then they said, well, they wanted to help me. So they're like, well, okay, so-and-so wants a phone, And so we woke, and I said, well, what do you think? And I said, you don't have to be the brightest bulb to be number one. You don't have to. All you've got to do is follow Proverbs. That's it. Take care of it.
It's very true. I mean, there's a great series. It was a book I read it's probably been 10 years now. It's I think the title of it was Jesus is CEO, or CEO Jesus, or something like that. And it took the scripture and put it into the context of how you have a successful business. It's exactly that. It's treat people. It goes back to the golden rule. It is just treating people the way you want to be treated. And, a lot of that, I think that golden rule plays on our selfishness a little bit, because we all want to be treated like we're somebody, and we're somebody important. We're somebody, whatever the case may be. We want to be treated well, and so the way to be treated well is to treat others the way you want to be treated. Now, that doesn't say in order to be treated well, you should treat. It says treat others as you want to be treated. It doesn't
expect anything in return.
Don't expect anything in return. You do the right thing. Why? Because it's the right thing, not because we're afraid. There are so many business leaders that do the right thing because they're afraid of doing the wrong thing and getting caught. And that is just the wrong way to even think about it or to look at it. We as whether we're leading a business or whether we're leading a church or whether we're leading a wrestling organization, whatever we're doing, the right thing to do is the right thing to do. It's not about wanting to do the wrong thing but being afraid of getting caught. It's about really having the mindset of focusing on the person that you're serving and what is the best thing for them. And when we think that way, that is contagious. Other people start thinking that way as well. And then guess what? They're thinking that way when they're looking at us. And that's where the return comes in. We shouldn't expect a return, but we get a return. We're blessed for it. And that's what Jesus teaches. It's not do something right for someone because they'll do right for you. It's just simply do something right for someone.
Some of the most successful people in what we say in human eyes, some of the most successful people in business I have ever met were the ones who basically were servants. And I mean, they were. And so I'm part of a BNI organization. I don't know if you've heard of BNI. And so I'm new to the area. So I got the account with Honey Baked Ham. Well, Kathy with Honey Baked Ham said, you need to join the chapter in Greenwood, South Carolina. She said, you really need to. So I don't know that I have time. I said, we just moved. I'm a caretaker for my mother and all this. And she said, it'll be worth it because you're new in the area. You need to do that. I did. And those people we all look out for each other. I mean, the meetings are about what do you need, and meet with them. And it's not about like when I meet with somebody, it's not what I need. I say, what can I do to help you? Yeah. And so one of the guys in the group, I've been trying to get into the tech school. I'm still with the tech school in Alabama, but I wanted to be local, get into and I just couldn't get in because of COVID, different things, different that you just can't walk in a door anymore like you used to. And so one of the guys said, you want to get into the tech school? I said, yeah. And he said, why? And I said, well, I want to help them out. I said, I want to help them with their students to find jobs. And then I want to help businesses or even thinking about coming into this area. The tech school could be a source for them, because I'm talking like welders beginning out at 6 figures already the first year. Yeah. I mean, we just want to see these kids not have all this college debt and all this kind of stuff and just get into a good tech job. And so anyway, the guy at the BNI, we were on a break and he just picked up his phone and just dialed and just talked to the guy. And he said, I got a lady you need to meet. He set me up and I'm going, so he sets me up this appointment. Yeah. I go in and I clinch it. I get it. I mean, but it's because of somebody who was kind to me. But then I walked in and I wanted to help them. So it's, because I feel kind of insignificant. I feel like I've got to be helping other folks. I mean, that's just my take on everything. So I just don't feel that, like the world does not turn on an axle with Donna. I mean, that's it. I want to make my space as bright as I can,
Yeah. Well, I think that just goes back to, servant heart. We all feel, it's the giving time of year, right? I mean, we all feel really good about buying that special present that we give and that someone absolutely loves. That makes us feel good because they appreciate what we've given to them. And so I think we all feel better when we give as opposed to when we get. And because exactly as you said, this person reached out and got you that appointment. And what did you want to do? You wanted to do something for them to help them because you caught the bug. Someone was giving to you, didn't have to take time to do that, wasn't expecting anything in return, but that feeling of having something done for you makes you want to do for others. And that's why it's not a quid pro quo. That's why it's not we should expect things in return when we do great things for people, when we do even the small things for people, because that contagious bug spreads. And then people will begin to do things for us as we express our needs as well. Now, that's the thing that I think a lot of people struggle with, is sharing the things that they need. And we kind of, and men are bad about this stuff. Men will not share.
Oh, I'm good.
I'm fine. Everything's good. I'm fine. And inside, they're just suffering. Whether it's something personal or even in business, it's really harder for men to admit, I need some help. It would be great if someone could do this for me. What do you need? I don't need anything. Well, that's not true. What do you need? And so, we have to be willing and open to being vulnerable. And vulnerability is not a weakness. It's not something that we should avoid. I think vulnerability is something that we should share, especially with those that are seeking to serve, and especially with those that are close to us. Excuse me. When we're not vulnerable, then we tend to withdraw into this shell, and then we wonder why no one's helping us. Well, no one needs you. No one knows you need help. So without expressing it, we shouldn't expect someone to just come in and know what we need. We need to be open enough to say, hey, Donna, you know what? I need help. I would love to get in with this person or this company. Do you know anyone? Do you have a connection? And that does two things. One, it shares with you my need. It allows me to be open. Number two, we are giving someone the opportunity to serve and to really pour into other people and pour into us. And if we don't give people that opportunity, I don't know how we can expect people to pour into us.
Well, I mean, you're constantly promoting, and I keep talking about my grandparents. It was such a huge part of my life. And my granddad was a music director, and he was really good at it. As a matter of fact, other churches in the revivals would invite my granddad to come and lead their choir.
Wow.
To kick off and then I play piano. I play by ear. And so he would have me come because if the person plays by ear in his mind, he said, no, I want you to come with me because you can put it in whatever key I want it in. And, people have different voices. Sometimes where a song is written is not good for everybody, right. And he would just kind of play around with them just a little bit and have a little choir practice and have me play. And then he would say, well, bump it down a key. Or bump it up, whatever you need to do. But my problem, and it was so much fun doing stuff with him. So he would, he had a pencil, and so this is his book. So he always did the beat to the pencil at the book and expected, and it was for me, it was not for the choir. It was for me because I was a teenager. I would want to run off with Amazing Grace or whatever, and I said, like that. And so he would look at me and go, slow her down, sugar. And then
so he was your own personal metronome.
He was the one. But I'm just going to tell you, the things he did, and you don't think people are noticing. I mean, and it helps me because I was this shy girl. I got quietest in Who's Who. I used to stutter. Parents had a bad marriage, the old history of that. But my granddad saw something. And so it's kind of like he took me under his wing, and he would say, I'm going to get you out of that, because you can do better than that. Yeah. So this makes me I can be in a group full of teenage girls or boys, and I can tell you the ones who are having family issues at home. Yeah. And those are the ones I lift everybody up as I can, with what meager way I've got to do it. But I like to see people shine. I like to watch the shy girl in school get out on a limb just a little bit. Sometimes that's all you need, just a gentle push, and then, man, watch them go.
Exactly.
And that's exactly why I like what you guys do. And that's why I love to have you on the show, because you're reaching people like I was. I mean, I was saved when I was 12 years old. Well, parents not being exactly at home like they were in church, I kind of developed this attitude. It was like, I don't want to go to church because, that's the way everybody is in church. I had that attitude about that. Yeah. So the way you guys are approaching, it's going to be somebody that would be just like me. I would have went to you guys. I really would, just to go watch the fun of the wrestling. And then you could have ministered to me. You would have not caught me in a church. Well,
and that's the thing that we have to really think about as Christians is what is our purpose here? And, the Great Commission is not to go to church and sit in a pew every Sunday so that your walk grows. I'm not saying that's not important, because it is important. But the Great Commission is to go out and tell the world. Go out and tell them. Go. It's an action word. And go and tell, not sit in the back pew and listen. That's not what the Great Commission says. Now we should sit and we should listen, we should absorb and we should learn so that we can go and tell. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to go into places where people would come to see, our wrestling show, which is, by the way, a really good wrestling show. We have some great athletes and some wonderful entertainers and just brilliant minds behind the scene making things happen. But that's just kind of the bait. I mean, I hate to use kind of a fishing metaphor, but that's just hook, it's just putting the worm on the hook. The hook itself is giving someone the opportunity to hear what God intends for them to hear. And sometimes for some people, it's that saving grace message of the blood of Jesus. Sometimes it's for that Christian that's kind of fallen away, that does need to go and sit every Sunday and listen and absorb and learn and ignore the people that are in the church. And focus on the true reason for being there. Because a lot of times people will say, well, I'm not going to church. Some Christians are hypocrites. Yeah, we are, because we're human and we're all broken and we're trying, we're doing our best, but people in a church are going to hurt you. They're going to hurt you. You're going to get offended. You're going to get hurt, but those people aren't the reason you're there. And the reason that you're there is to hear and grow in the message and the word. Listen, there are struggles every day even within our own organization of the stresses of putting on a really good show or bringing in new talent, and people clash and those kind of things. But at the end of the day, we're there for a purpose, and that purpose is to share the gospel. And if we keep that in the forefront of our minds, then we can work through any kind of issues that we have with anyone else. I think that's true for anyone wanting to go back to church, but not wanting to be around church people. If we keep the purpose of going to church in the forefront of our minds, then we can go and we can listen and we can absorb and hear the word of God without having to fear the trauma and the hurt that a lot of times comes from the people around us.
Well, it's just dealing with people. I mean, people, and they're there at work. You go into work every day. So, I mean, that's the way I had to look at it too. Well, I do work for a job. That can really be something. I can't believe this. An hour has flown by. How can folks get in contact with you, Jody?
Well, I have thoroughly enjoyed it, and I always love the Donna's Edge, and I love coming on and sharing. We just have such great conversation. And time does fly. It flies when we're having fun. I'm having a lot of fun with you.
Absolutely. Thank you again so much for being with me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Jody, how can folks get in contact with you?
Look us up on Facebook, Wrestling for Christ. And if you are interested in having a wrestling event, come and raise money, or even just be part of an event that you're having where we can come and we can share and we can have a great time and share the gospel, please reach out to us. Our direct messaging is open right there on Facebook, Wrestling for Christ. Give us a search and you will find us, and we travel. So let us know. We do church events, civic events, birthdays. Oh, there's nothing better than a birthday, having a wrestling ring set up at your venue to have a great birthday entertainment.
Absolutely. We're going to have to call it a day. Guys, continue sending email, Donna at donnasedge.com. It makes my day. See you later.